Welcome to 10 Minutes Library, your shortcut to the world's best books. In just 10 minutes, we turn powerful ideas into life-changing lessons. Let's grow smarter, fast.
Okay, so what if? What if the difference between feeling, I don't know, ordinary and achieving something truly extraordinary wasn't really about luck? What if it was something much more accessible, like maybe 7 simple shifts in how you approach things? Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the 7 habits of highly effective people. And look, this isn't just some book on a shelf. It's a framework that, well, CEOs, top athletes, all sorts of high performers really seem to swear by. Our mission here isn't just a summary. No, we want to pull out the key stuff, the really important bits, the surprising applications, maybe even those aha moments. Think of this deep dive as like a shortcut to really getting what makes these habits work in the real world. We're going to dig in and see what makes them tick.
Exactly. And I'm here to kind of connect those dots, look at the why behind it all.
Yeah.
Why do these habits actually matter? They aren't just, a random list. They build on each other, creating this blueprint almost for a more purposeful and effective life. Let's get into how they actually fit together.
Yeah, let's do that. And as we start, think about how each habit is like a building block, right? The whole thing, this whole idea of effectiveness, it really rests on the very first one. Be proactive. The source really hammers this home. You are not your circumstances, you are your choices. Powerful stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It's about spotting that space, that tiny gap between something happening and how you respond to it. That's where your freedom is.
Yeah.
Choosing your response instead of just being driven by like traffic or the weather or what someone else did. Proactive people, they don't just do stuff. They take real ownership. Mentally, emotionally, they focus their energy on their circle of influence, what they can actually do something about, not just complaining about everything else, the circle of concern.
That is a huge shift, isn't it? Moving from, oh, I can't because this happened, to, okay, this happened, how can I handle it? It doesn't mean challenges disappear, but you're not letting them dictate your next move. So maybe ask yourself, how often are you reacting versus, acting intentionally? It really changes things when you get it.
It really does. It's like the foundational choice. Everything else kind of builds from there.
Okay, so once you've got you're in charge of your choices, that proactivity, the next step is making sure those choices are pointed somewhere worthwhile. Which brings us to habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. And it kicks off with this really thought-provoking, maybe even a bit unsettling exercise. Picturing your own funeral. What do you want people to genuinely say about you?
Sounds maybe a bit morbid at first, but it's incredibly clarifying, actually. It forces you to think, okay, what really matters? Am I designing my life around that, or am I just, getting lost in the day-to-day? We can easily fall into this activity trap, right? Busy, 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 but maybe climbing the wrong ladder entirely. That idea of a personal mission statement, it's not just corporate speak. It's like your personal compass, your North Star. It's surprising, I think, how few people have really sat down and articulated their core values and purpose. Then they wonder why they feel a bit adrift.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a practical tip for this, too, from the source.
Yeah.
A weekly check-in. Just asking yourself, is what I'm doing today actually moving me towards my bigger picture? It's like a constant little course correction.
Exactly. That question helps you sort of reverse engineer your life from that ultimate vision. Are today's actions building towards that legacy? It stops you from just drifting. It makes the daily grind feel more like steps on a meaningful path.
Okay, so you've got your destination in mind, you're being proactive about your choices, but then there's all the noise, right? The everyday chaos. How do you actually do the important stuff?
Yeah.
That's habit 3. Put first things first. And the key idea here is a subtle but crucial distinction. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities.
Yeah, and what's often missed about this one isn't just making a to-do list. It's recognizing that the really important work, it often doesn't feel urgent. It's the planning, the relationship building, the long-term thinking that prevents fires later on. But oh boy, is it easy to let the urgent but ultimately unimportant stuff just take over your day. This habit requires the discipline to say no to things that scream for attention but don't actually align with that end you have in mind.
And this is where that practical tool comes in handy, right? The Eisenhower matrix,
Yeah.
that 4-quadrant box, urgent versus important. The source lays it out as a way to visually sort tasks and see where your time should be going. It's really helpful for prioritizing effectively.
It really is. It helps you see the difference between just being busy and actually being productive. You learn to carve out and protect time for quadrant 2, the important but not urgent stuff. That's where the real growth happens, the strategic progress, not just fighting fires all day.
Okay, so once you've got your own act together, managing yourself effectively, the focus kind of shifts outward, doesn't it? How you interact with others, which leads us straight into habit 4. Think win-win. And let's be really clear, like the source says, win-win is not about being nice. It's about seeking mutual benefit.
Hmm. This is a fundamental shift, isn't it? From seeing life or resources as a fixed pie,
Yeah.
where if I get more, you get less, to seeing that there's potentially enough for everyone, an abundance mindset. It's about finding solutions where everyone feels good about the outcome, not just trying to win at someone else's expense, building trust, not just ego. But, a question comes up here sometimes. In a really competitive environment, isn't there a risk that thinking win-win might be seen as, well, soft?
Yeah.
Or that someone might try to take advantage of it?
That's a fair point, and it's a key nuance. The source isn't suggesting you be a doormat. It's about being both considerate and courageous. You stand up for what you need, but you also genuinely try to understand and accommodate what the other person needs. Think about work, for example. Instead of seeing your teammates as rivals, you look for ways that your success and their success can build on each other. The team wins, everyone wins. It changes the whole vibe from competition to collaboration.
Exactly. You're aiming higher than just compromise, where everyone gives something up. You're trying to create something better together.
Yeah.
That builds really strong, lasting partnerships. It needs both courage and consideration.
And what really makes that win-win approach possible? Being able to genuinely connect, which flows perfectly into habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This one. Wow, it hits hard with that observation. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not to understand.
Oof. It's so true, though. This isn't just about nodding along, It's a real challenge in our world. It's all about quick answers and jumping in. The deep insight here is that when you truly empathically listen, trying to grasp the other person's viewpoint, their feelings, their world, without judging or immediately planning your response, you build incredible trust. It means really listening, not interrupting, trying to get the emotion behind the words too.
That challenge you mentioned, trying to just listen for a whole day. It sounds simple, but I've tried it, and it is surprisingly hard to just shut off my own internal commentary and truly absorb. What do you think is the biggest roadblock for people here?
I think often it's our own ego, maybe, or our assumptions. We filter what people say through our own experiences, or we're so busy crafting our brilliant reply that we miss the core message. It takes real humility, real patience. But gosh, when you practice it, communication just transforms. You build such stronger connections because people feel genuinely heard. It's about building bridges.
Okay, so what happens when you take that win-win goal and combine it with this deep, empathetic understanding? You get to habit 6, synergize. This is where that cool idea comes in, like 1 + 1 = 3, or even more. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, applied to people working together.
Yes. And what's really exciting here is the emphasis on valuing differences. It's not about everyone thinking the same. True breakthroughs, real innovation, often spark when you bring together different perspectives, different skills, even seemingly opposite viewpoints. It's about creative cooperation, finding that third alternative that's better than what either person came up with alone. You value what others bring, even if it clashes with your initial idea. The goal isn't just agreement, it's discovery.
And the source gives that classic example, right? Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak creating Apple. They were so different, but you had the visionary and the tech wizard. Together, that combination was, well, magical. Vision plus tech magic, as the example puts it.
It's a perfect illustration. Synergy happens when there's high trust and high cooperation, and people genuinely respect the different strengths each person brings. It encourages you, listening now, to maybe look around in your own life or work. Where could combining different perspectives lead to something amazing, like maybe pairing an analytical mind with a creative one, or a big picture person with someone great on details?
Love that. Okay, finally we get to the habit that kind of holds it all together, makes it all sustainable. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. The metaphor is just perfect. You can't cut down trees all day without stopping to sharpen your axe.
Sharpen the saw. It's the ultimate self-care habit, but in a really holistic way. Think about it. If you're just go, 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 pushing constantly without taking time to recharge, you're not just going to slow down. You're heading for burnout, full stop. This covers taking care of your physical self, exercise, nutrition, rest, your mental self, reading, learning, planning, your emotional or social self, relationships, empathy, and your spiritual self values, meditation, time, and nature, whatever that means for you. Mind, body, heart, and soul.
And the source gives some concrete examples, doesn't it? Like
Mhm.
maybe aim for 20 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of quiet reflection or meditation each day. These aren't just nice to haves, they're essential investments in your ability to do everything else.
Exactly. So how do we avoid burnout and stay effective long term? This is it. Sharpening the saw is what fuels all the other habits. It gives you the energy, the clarity, the resilience to actually be proactive, to think win-win, to synergize.
Yeah.
Without it, the whole system eventually grinds to a halt. It's absolutely crucial.
So, stepping back and looking at all seven, the big picture message from this deep dive seems really clear. Effectiveness isn't just about managing time better or just working harder. It's fundamentally about cultivating these better habits, understanding how they feed into each other.
Absolutely. And the good news is, you don't have to master all seven overnight. That would be overwhelming. The real power often comes from just starting with one. Picking one habit and taking a small step can create this positive ripple effect. Builds momentum.
Totally agree. So, maybe the question to leave you with is this. Thinking about these seven habits, which single one feels like it might be the most important first step for you right now? And what's one small, doable action you could take this week just to start practicing it? Something to think about as we all keep working on building better versions of ourselves together.
See you in the next chapter.